Time for a twins pod.
Then I'm getting sucked off.
Yeah.
So you said the NBA, it's like it's ran by a bunch of Jewish people, huh?
Predominantly. The ownership is predominantly Jewish.
Yeah. How was it like playing in the NBA?
I didn't play. No, I didn't get a chance to play. I came into the NBA. I got drafted. Well, if I took you back before I was drafted, I became widely known for having been one of the first college basketball players or college athletes to talk openly about my struggles with anxiety.
I got the same problem.
A lot of us do, don't we?
Yeah.
So when I was like 16, I smoked weed for the first time, had a massive panic attack, started having panic attacks until I was diagnosed. I was put on medication early on, Prozac. I was taking like 20 milligrams of Prozac.
Did that help?
In the beginning, it helped. It helped like bring me back to a baseline. It felt like where I was getting sleep again. At first, I was getting no sleep. I was just anxiety riddled all day long, couldn't sleep. The Prozac, I remember starting to be able to sleep again and have dreams. That's how you can tell you're really getting into deep sleep. Where
Because anxiety is nothing but your mind is just racing.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and I got over, first I stopped taking the medicine and I stopped having panic attacks as bad. But some of it lingered on when I got to college, and I went to Minnesota, got in a little bit of trouble at Minnesota, ended up transferring to Iowa State, had to sit a year. This was back before you could go anywhere you want penalty-free in college basketball.
Yeah.
Now guys are getting paid. We used to get in trouble for getting an extra sweatshirt from the school you was getting recruited by. Right? You got to ride across the 2, 3, 4, 5 mile wide campus. You got to ride to your class after 7 a.m. practice. You were getting penalized and suspended by the NCAA. Now you're getting cars from the local car dealer. It's crazy. This was just 10 years ago. Remember, this ain't 30, 40 years ago.
Right.
But so I go to Iowa State. I had to sit a year. So by the time I started playing, I'm now 20 years old. And I had an ESPN writer come and do a story on me because of the success we were having. Nobody thought that we would be successful that year. We were picked to finish like bottom 3 in the Big 12, which is the perennial basketball conference. And we ended up being close to the top. We ended up finishing third in the conference, right? And, this is one of the golden era of Big 12. This is during the Bill Self reign of Kansas, where they won 10 Big 12 championships in a row.
The Big East was big too.
Big East was good. Yeah. Well, we clipped their ass at Iowa State and Ames. They was ranked number 5 in the country.
Right.
Yeah. Bill Self's a good dude. Shout out to him. But anyway, so they're doing this story on me, and I let it slip that I didn't eat before the games. It was they were asking me about my routine. And I was like, I don't eat before the games. They were like, why? I was like, I don't know. My stomach just weird in the morning sometimes. I got anxiety. So I said that, and then they were like, wait, hold on, skirt? You got anxiety? What are you talking about anxiety? So then it became a story across the, Royce White dealing with mental health, anxiety, and how will the NBA look at it? So then I go into a pre-draft process where the NBA now is like, the NBA media is like, well, Royce is one of the most skilled NBA-ready players in this class. 6'8", 270, plays point guard, great passing skills, great defender, led his team in every major statistical category. This guy's a shoo-in to be a top 5 pick, talent-wise and ready-wise. But how do they view anxiety? How does the NBA look at anxiety? Do they look at it as a genuine medical issue or a character problem?
Right.
So I'm fucking 20 years old, G. And I gotta field these questions as a 20-year-old. You can say I was put on
You're just trying to deal with it on your own.
I'm trying to survive out here, right? And so I got drafted, and I go to a rookie transition program they hold in Hoboken, Jersey, every year. So where they bring in the rookies to basically do 3-4 days of seminars on watching people who want to steal your money, watch out for the women, the horror stories from the NBA players who have been through tough stuff. And I saw Chris Herron. He gave a speech. And if you know anything about Chris Herron's story, he was addicted to heroin. NBA player, great college player, got addicted to heroin real bad and whatnot. And I was sitting there, I remember like the things he was describing resonated with me because even though I wasn't doing drugs, the emotions he was feeling alone and darkness and fear and feeling like you can't talk to anybody about what's going on.
He was self-medicating.
Oh, he was self-medicating. I mean, heroin is as bad as it gets, right?
Right.
I mean, I was taking 20 milligrams of Prozac. It's like a punk drug, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But heroin he's doing a serious drug. But anyway, so after it was over, I went back to my room and I had my collective bargaining agreement. I went to read it page by page from front to back. And I realized there wasn't a single mention of mental health in the entire document. And it blew my mind because I got to the banned substance list, and here's a medication that I'm prescribed. Right? So now I'm thinking in my head, oh, shit. Man, what do we do with this? So I go to my team, and I'm like, all right, there's a discrepancy between the document, the CBA, and the health part of the document, and the banned substance list. And I'm like, I'm prescribed this drug, so am I okay to take this? Even though at the time I wasn't taking it, I had it for as needed, Xanax. Okay? Right. Okay. I was prescribed Xanax as needed. If I'm having a panic attack, if I'm getting anxious around flying and whatnot. And that was another big part of the story, is because I didn't like to fly.
A lot of people don't.
Well, look now. I was telling him before the show started, seeing a Delta Airlines flight upside down, maybe I was having a premonition, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on.
You know what I mean? A little bit too much for my comfort. I'm glad I like to drive more than fly. But so that became a big story. And ultimately, I got into a political fight with the NBA on clarifying their policy. Like, okay, well, how do you view mental health and anxiety? Is it a medical issue? Is it a part of comprehensive medical, health for your players and everybody? Or do you look at a character issue, like, you punk motherfucker, you got anxiety, you just a hassle, right? You know what I mean? And I feel them, I feel what, if that's their position, I just need to know.
Right.
So I could go about so I could do what I need to do. Let's get the expectations out on the table.
Right.
And they didn't want no part of that. They were like, who you think you are to even question the shit that we write? The policy. You want to question us about policy? I had one attorney, his name was Goldberg. He was Leslie Alexander.
One of them.
Hey, it's the man's name. I didn't name the man. I didn't make it his name. Yeah.
Right.
But, so we had like this big falling out public kind of dispute. You can go back and look at it. And the mainstream media was shilling for the NBA. Because everybody wants their credentials, their media credentials. And the NBA is a cash cow.
Right.
The NBA is the watering hole of the global corporate community. Every industry has an interest.
That's the Gaza Strip of the Mediterranean.
There you go. That's right. That's right. They're all there. They're all trying to get a piece. And so we had this big, 3-month dispute. And finally, Leslie Alexander at the time, who is another Jewish owner, he sold the team, to somebody else. But he sent this guy. This is his attorney. This is his lead guy. Right? It's the general counsel, they call it. Every rich guy has one, right? Yeah. Not to say that they're all Jewish. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying usually a rich guy has a general counsel attorney. So he sends him. And he sends him, and we sit in the psychiatrist's office. First, they made me go to the psychiatrist every day against the psychiatrist's recommendation. Because I said, I don't need to go to a psychiatrist every day. I need us to clarify this language in this contract so we can know how to operate with each other. I'm 20. I need to know expectations.
Exactly.
But the fact that y'all got Xanax here, then you're telling me I can take it anyway, that doesn't seem right to me.
Right.
So I go to this doctor, this psychiatrist, great guy at Baylor University. His name is Aaron Fink, another Jewish guy. Really good dude, though. Really like Aaron Fink. Shout out to him. ESPN E60 did a little brief documentary on me, and Aaron Fink sang my praises and was like, man, Royce was one of these guys who basketball wasn't what was most important. He wanted to make sure things were done right. He was interested in bigger than basketball, But anyway, so I go to him. I'm going to him every day, and he tells them there's nothing wrong with this guy. He doesn't need to come. He said my most manic schizophrenic patients come see me at most twice a week. You're making him come here every day as punishment because you don't want to have to deal with what he's saying. What he's saying is your documents, your player contracts got a huge hole in the language, and he's right. Yeah, he basically, Fink said Royce is right. The director of health for the NBA and the union, which is a joint person that they both agree upon and hire, Dr. Taylor. He said Royce is right. We need to change this language. My team doctor, Dr. Muntz, shout out to Dr. Jim Muntz. I still talk to him all the time when I got something going on in my health. He said Royce is right. We need to change this language. David Stern was like, I don't give what y'all say. I don't give a there's a hierarchy of power, and I don't believe that this kid deserves to even talk to me. I'll talk to his agent.
Is David Stern?
He's dead now.
Yeah. Is he Jewish? Was he Jewish?
He's Jewish. Yeah. Adam Silver succeeded him. He's Jewish. And if you know anything about that, community, and I mean that immediate NBA ownership community, the real history of their Jewish ties goes back to Adam Silver's father, who was one of the founding attorneys of Proxire and Rose, which is probably one of the most powerful law firms in New York City. Mm-hmm. The Proxire and Rose was the law firm that took all the Jewish attorneys back when the other firms wouldn't hire any Jewish attorneys.
Okay.
So Adam Silver's dad was one of the most powerful people in the whole world, probably. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I'm sitting there now, and I'm in the psychiatrist's office, and we're having this meeting, and they send Goldberg. Now he's coming to try and patch everything over. And he sits right there in the meeting with me. Psychiatrist is there, team doctor is there, a couple of my people are there as a witness. And he goes, Royce, I think you're right. I think we should change this, but who's going to listen to you if you don't play? Mm-hmm. He told me that flat out. He said, if you play, I promise you, we will deal with this. We'll help you.
Players union take care of it for you.
No, non-existent. I'll get to that in a moment. Mm-hmm. He said, we'll help you do this. And they got the power to do it. Like when he was saying we can turn, he said, you're young, you're articulate, you're good looking. Mm-hmm. You could be the poster child of mental health if you play.
Yeah.
And I told him I shouldn't have, first of all, I'm not even interested in that. I'm not even interested in what you're offering.
Right.
So that's one of those silent offers, comes with strings. Okay?
Right.
I knew that then. I wasn't that smart back then, but I knew enough to know all these offers is coming with strings.
Right.
You ain't just that interested in what I'm talking about, what I want to do, or else we wouldn't be here.
Right.
You'd be doing it.
Right.
Okay, so I'm forcing you now. You're going to try and play back. That's how the great game is played. But anyway.
Want some reciprocity.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Reciprocity.
Yeah,
reciprocity. That's
right,
what he
right.
wants.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm not even interested in what you're offering, but I don't even like the proposition that I have to play in order to do something that y'all can change now. All I'm saying is mental health has to be acknowledged in this document, or me and you can't talk about my anxiety. Because I don't want to have to be here every single week as a 20-year-old trying to explain some shit to you that doctors can barely explain. And now you're using that again. Now you're getting irritated with me, annoyed. Now you're trying to lowball me in contract time because I'm not explaining it well enough, or whatever the case may be. So anyway, long story short, me and him, we butted heads. I said, keep the fucking money. He was like, you could probably make $100 million in this league at least. And now that's conservative looking at the contracts that are getting thrown around. And it's not to mention the endorsements. My goodness, right? If I'd have put on a dress, I'd be in the billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They can't wait to put one of us light-skinned dudes with the light eyes in the dress, right? Oh, that's like a globalist wet dream. You get one of the Hodgetwins, you know what I'm saying, in a dress, and you in the money, right?
Oh man, I'm an instant billionaire.
You know what I'm saying, right? So
Yeah.
imagine I'm sitting right there at the table, where it's like a phone call. No, I'll do that life insurance. I'll do that. A State Farm life insurance commercial with the dress. I'll do that. How much y'all offering, right? Like I was right there.
Right.
So I tell him, keep the money. I don't want the money. And he's like, well, you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And tell David Stern, we'll see who comes out the other side.
So it's a lot of quid pro quo.
And you could argue that moment, even though it happened behind closed doors, was the inception of the fight, the current fight between the nationalist populist MAGA movement and the ultra multinational globalist establishment. See, because this was way before Trump ever came on the scene. This was 2012.
Yeah.
See, I'm not saying that this kicked the movement, but I'm saying the energy was there, right? Where I'm like, as a young black man coming from a low and middle class blue collar family, my mom was an esthetician. She paid rent with her tips. Right? She took her tips and went to the SA, the gas station. You wouldn't even know what Super America is. Y'all got 7-Elevens everywhere else, but we got Super America. She goes to the gas station and trades into cash for money orders to pay rent.
Right.
Real working class. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for me to be sitting there across people who got more money than Midas and tell them to keep the money, that's the impulse that Donald Trump's drawing upon now. And so what ended up happening was 2 years after I was kind of shunned from the league, Kevin Love and DeMar DeRozan started talking about having anxiety, depression.
Oh, okay.
And because Kevin Love did it, they wrote out the red carpet for him. They changed the policy that I wrote. I actually I didn't handwrite it, but I wrote it myself personally. I wrote a policy proposal for the mental health portion of the collective bargaining agreement, and they literally used the language that I wrote. But they won't even say my name. Adam Silver to this day refuses to say my name. He won't even speak about me.
So that's why people don't like Jews, man.
Hey, you know, I'll say this.
Yeah.
I can't say that because if you watch my podcast, this guy named Professor Penn, David Penn is his name. He's you know, Republican Party officer in Minnesota.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, and he's Jewish, Ukrainian Jewish, right there from where the Khazarian, you know, legend comes from. And I don't know anybody more America First or MAGA. Louis Topper is another great guy who, while still I would say is on the pro-Israel side, is an avid supporter of Trump and me and the MAGA movement. And I talk about the issue with Israel. Matter of fact, Professor Penn, they call him anti-Semitic. And he's a Ukrainian Jew.
That's crazy.
Right? So that tells you the racket that's being run with the anti-Semitic thing. Now, I do believe that Adam Silver and some of those NBA owners represent a demographic of people who are misusing the Jewish identity. You know, and they're using it as a shield, as a cover. They're using it as a cudgel when they need to. And you know, I think Jewish people everywhere should be offended by how it's being misused, just like Black people should.
Right.
I think there's a lot of connection. There's a lot of similarity between the way the Black identity is used and the way the Jewish identity is used. It's actually the exact same. The Black identity is used to justify the expansion of the federal government here in America.
Right.
And the Jewish identity is used to wage a war against the idea of borders on the international stage. It's the exact same racket, just a different way. Yeah.
Interesting point.
Yeah.
Wow, man. So they just rolled out the white carpet for a white boy, huh?
You know,
that's what I call white privilege right there.
I'm like, man, my name's Royce White. I'm light skinned. I ain't getting no love. Kevin Love get all the love. I can't get no love. Damn.
Yeah.
No, but they rolled out the carpet for him, and you know, he was respectful though. He was like, you know, he gave me my kudos. He was like online. You know, we couldn't have got this started without Royce, but the NBA never acknowledged it. And you know, I'm only 33 right now.
Right.
Like I still could be playing. And there are a lot of people who would say, like, Draymond Green was on Paul George's podcast, and he was drafted the same year as I was, and we went to draft camp together. He was running down all the people who got drafted before him, and then he was saying which ones were trash, and they came to my name, and he was like, no, Royce is another one that kills me because, and they was like, what, he trash? And Draymond was like, nah. Nah, Royce was like that. Like, if Royce didn't have the issue with the mental health stuff, he'd still be an all-star today. And he was mad because we had a similar skill set. My year when I was at Iowa State, I led my team in all 5 categories: points, rebounds, blocks, steals, assists. He led Michigan State in 4. So we had a very similar build, similar game. And he was basically saying, if Royce is the 16th pick, how I end up all the way at 68, which looking back now is legitimate because he's very good, and he's had a lot of success, and he's really helped Golden State more than I think people realize. He does the little things. He's gritty. So
that guy's a power forward, right?
Right.
How tall is that dude?
He's about 6'6".
He's 6'5".
No, yeah. I mean, you're right there. Yeah, you're right there.
Because the position he's playing, I'm like, this dude is undersized. Like,
yeah. Just like Charles Barkley, man.
Right.
They say he was 6'6". He's like
Barkley about 6'4".
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that dude was doing crazy
stuff. Makes it even more amazing, right?
Yeah, he would have 6'10" people on him.
Oh man, Barkley was an athlete, and what makes it more crazy is he didn't work out. He didn't work on his body. He ate like a just savage.
He was a light-skinned, fat Dennis Rodman.
I mean, imagine how you see how high he jumped though.
Yeah.
Imagine if he was lean.
Yeah. I know.
He would have had a 45-inch vertical. He probably already had a 40-inch vertical.
Right.
He probably would have been upper 40s if he was lean.
Yeah.
He was a fat boy putting his head on the rim.
I remember seeing him grab a rebound. When he got the rebound, both his hands was over the rim when he grabbed it.
Yeah.
And then he went straight back up like he was 7 foot and slammed it. I was like,
yeah, that's something only 7-footers do.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wasn't that athletic.
Yeah,
but I had a lot more wiggle. I had a lot more wiggle, they say. I had a lot more shake in my game than Barkley.
Yeah, we're here with Chris. He just won a Ram giveaways, 47 edition, turbo diesel.
Yeah.
If you're in it right now, go right over here. Yeah, keep walking. See, follow me over here. Keep on walking. Look over there. Y'all know about the Raptor we giving away. It ain't nothing but a lifted Corvette, man. It handles like a Corvette, handles like a sports car. Yeah. That truck's crazy. But we got something else we want to show y'all. We also giving away this Jeep Rubicon, candy infrared. Yeah, lifted. Yeah, fully loaded. And the reason why we do this, because y'all support us. So we're going to support you. Right now, we're giving you 10 times the interest. Spend $10, you get 100 interest. Spend 1,000, 10,000 interest. Go to officialhodgetwins.com. Anything you buy on our site, get you automatic. Enter to win all our giveaways. No purchase necessary. All where prohibited. See official rules for details. Yeah.